Since the rumours have started that Jodie Whittaker is going to be leaving the role of the 13th Doctor at the end of Series 13, the inevitable speculation about who will replace her has of course begun. And I wanted to get in on that speculation, of course I did, so I've made a video. Here it is. In this video I will be giving you my 6 picks for who I think would make a good 14th Doctor. Hi, I'm Phil, welcome to my channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like to consume, including things like Star Trek, the MCU, in fact I've just started reviewing WandaVision on a weekly basis, do check those out, and of course Doctor Who, which is the mainstay of the channel really. So if you like any of that stuff, do hit the subscribe button down below. Today we're talking speculation about who could be the 14th Doctor. Now, of course, it's just a rumour that Jodie is leaving. We have not had this confirmed, but you know, it's getting to that point in her Doctor career, approaching 3 years, where it would be understandable for her to leave. Every other modern era Doctor has only lasted a maximum of 3 years. Christopher Eccleston only lasted 1. So it's about the right time to start thinking, oh, who would we like to replace her? And I've got 7 suggestions for you. Let me know what you think about them in the comments below. Add your own in to who you think would be good if they're not on my list. And if anybody says Lawrence Fox, sorry, we can't be friends. So my first pick as a suggestion is Tania Miller. Tania isn't new to the world of Doctor Who. She has in fact been in an episode before. She has in fact played a Time Lord before. We saw her in the infamous episode Hellbent. Guess I know it's not a fan favourite necessarily. Some love it, some hate it, some like me are indifferent to it. But despite the episode that she was in, I think she would be really good as the Doctor. I've seen her in other stuff. She is a fantastic actor, and I think she has, with her shaved head, her tall stature, I think she has a really unique look that I think would work really well. And interestingly, there is an extract of one Target novelization, the Target novelization by Russell T Davies, called Rose. Called Rose? It's the Target novelization of Rose. And in that, there is, amongst Clive's investigations of the Doctor, a couple of Doctors that we haven't met yet. One is somebody in a wheelchair. Another, I can't remember the exact description, but basically describes someone that looks very like Tania Miller. Now, given that Russell T Davies has gone on to work with Tania Miller in years and years, I don't know if he'd worked with her before that, but it's possible that he already had her in mind when he wrote that. And I think it would be a nice little link back round to that, to actually cast her as a Doctor at some point in the future, and why not as the 14th Doctor? My second choice, Michael Sheen, David Tennant's best bud in Staged. Yes, Michael Sheen would be a fantastic 14th Doctor. He's also been in the show before, but only in voice. He voiced the planet of House in The Doctor's Wife. He was the sentient planet that was trying to lure Time Lords in to capture them in their TARDISes. And he did a very good job there. He didn't sound anything like Michael Sheen, in my opinion. But he sounded menacing. He's a brilliant actor, Michael Sheen. He can turn himself to almost any character, as evidenced, I think, by the amount of real life characters he's played in various docudramas over the years. You know, he's played Tony Blair, he's played, who else has he played? There was a famous football manager that he played once. He's played Nick Frost. You know, he is really good at taking on a variety of personas and integrating them. And if he's that good an actor, he could absolutely craft a unique take on the Doctor, I believe. I think Michael Sheen could be one of those really quirky Doctors, you know, like Tom Baker was quirky, like Matt Smith was quirky. He could be that level of quirkiness, I think, as a Doctor. So I'm imagining kind of a blend between his persona as he is in Stage, which is kind of heightened real life him, and also how he was in Good Omens, the kind of very buttoned up, formal angel that he was in that. Could smash those two together, keep the Welsh accent and the beard, and I think you're onto a winner there. Next up on my list is Razaffrey, who I first encountered watching Spooks back in the day. If you're American, you might know the show as MI5. It got renamed when it went over to America. It was the long-running British spy drama, Spooks, and he was in that. And he was very good in that. And despite being now in his, I think he's in his early 40s, he, I think, carries quite a youthful energy to him that might be quite good in the role. And while it's by no means vital, and in fact, you know, arguably some of the other people on this list definitely don't fit into this category, as much as we love Michael Sheen, he's not the stereotypical Hollywood leading man attractive type persona, is he? Whereas Razaffrey is a very dashing man, and I think somebody with the kind of attractiveness appeal might help bring in some more casual audience, possibly. So he has that going for him. Although, as I say, that's by no means vital to being cast as the Doctor. We had it in David Tennant. We didn't have it in Matt Smith. He worked just as well. Peter Capaldi, while being a very dashing older gentleman, is an older gentleman, and therefore didn't have quite the young sex appeal. But you know, I think there's still there'll be some people that say there's no place for that in Doctor Who. I think there is a place for that, and I think it can help bring in a younger audience as well, a younger, more casual audience, not even younger, just more casual audience as well. He's had a number of recurring roles in the US as well on various high-profile TV shows, so that would help it bring in the US audience. He's been in things like what has he been in? Smash, which was a brilliant sort of drama about Broadway and musicals. It was a musical series. He's been in Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, Homeland, Elementary, and the Netflix remake of Lost in Space. So he has that sort of recognizability to American audiences as well. They might not necessarily household name, but a lot of people might look at him and go, oh, I know that guy from that, and that might help it sort of sell more in America and help its appeal over there, which again isn't the absolute core of what we need, but it can't hurt. Next up on my list is Anna Chancellor, another Spooks veteran. In fact, she, though one with a career that stretches back a little bit further, I think she's a little bit older than Raza, so she stretches back, you know, she was in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, things like that as well, and then her sort of a mainstay of British television and film right back into the early 90s, possibly even the late 80s. So she's been around a while, she has a recognisable face, and she's got that kind of quirky kind of personality feeling to her, but she's also got a kind of hard edge to her as well, which contrasts, I think, quite nicely with Jodie's portrayal. I think it's always nice to have a Doctor following a Doctor that has something that's vastly different to them, and I think she would contrast nicely to Jodie's very bubbly personality that she has, very friendly, let's go, fam type attitude. She would contrast that in the same sort of way that Capaldi contrasted Matt's bubbliness. So I think that could be something that would be quite good. She also just kind of looks like the Doctor, and she's got that, I don't know why, she just kind of gives off this sort of Doctor energy to me. I don't know. What do you think? Next on my list is Alexander Siddig. Yes, I think now enough time has passed from when he played Julian Bashir in DS9. There's been enough distance from that. He's played enough other roles since then, some recognisable like Game of Thrones, where he has, grown as an actor. He's got enough stuff under his belt that both it wouldn't feel weird having him as the Doctor, at least not for me. Maybe for some diehard Deep Space Nine fans it would feel a little weird. I don't know. Let me know if you're a Star Trek fan, as I am. But if you're a really hardcore DS9 fan, and would you feel weird having Dr. Julian Bashir play the Doctor on Doctor Who? I think it's a great idea. And again, he needs to keep his beard because he's got this nice beard that he's had for the last, 15 years or so, and it works for him. And I think he should keep that as the Doctor. He would be too much like Julian Bashir if he shaved the beard. But the beard makes a difference. And he's shown that he's a great actor in things like Game of Thrones and various other roles. Once again was in Spooks. He was in one episode of that. I saw him in. He's been in things like Primeval, and I saw him on stage actually at the Globe Theatre in London. I can't remember what the production was. It was kind of Shakespeare-esque in its style, but it wasn't Shakespeare. It was a modern written play, but in the kind of style of Shakespeare, and it was very good, and he was fantastic in it. So he definitely has the acting chops. I think he just kind of feels like a Doctor to me as well. And out of all of the Star Trek actors, I think he would be the best one to play, because, you know, you've got to be British or connected to British. I think he's a British citizen. Even if he wasn't born here, he grew up here. Yeah, definitely. I think he would be a great pick. I'm really interested in I know I've got some Trekkies in my audience. What do you think? Alexander Siddig? Do you think he would make a good Doctor? Next on my list is Alfred Enoch. Now, everyone else on my list has been 40s plus. So I wanted somebody a bit younger. And actually, I was quite surprised that he wasn't younger than I thought he was. Because in my head, Alfred Enoch is so associated with Harry Potter movies that he is permanently a teenager. But of course, they were made a while ago. He's not a teenager anymore. He's actually in his early 30s. But he is on the younger side of this list. I think he's the youngest person I've got on this list. So if you want a bit of that youthful energy, he's in his early 30s. And I think that could be good for the show, having somebody a bit younger as well. Somebody, I suppose he's only a few years younger than Jodie is. So he wouldn't be the youngest person to play the role, but certainly I think Matt Smith was that. But, you know, to get that kind of, that youthful energy again would be quite good. And of course, he's someone with a connection to the show, because if you don't know, Alfred Enoch, as well as being someone in Harry Potter, is also the son of original companion Ian Chesterton, well, the son of the actor that plays him, William Russell. He is William Russell's son. He's the son of one of the original companions of Doctor Who. That kind of legacy thing appeals to me. Obviously, he still needs the acting chops, and he's proved through his work since, you know, in Harry Potter and since Harry Potter that he has that. But I think also, and they've got to kind of feel like they could inhabit the role, and I think he could. But yeah, that legacy element, that does appeal to me too, I must admit. And if he comes in on the 60th year, if Jodie regenerates on the 60th anniversary instead of at the end of series 13, that would be nice timing for that as well. If you're wondering what he's been in since he was in all 8 of the Harry Potter movies, but he's also been in things like Sherlock, Troy, The Fall of a City, and he's in the upcoming science fiction adaptation, Foundation, of which I will be watching, and I have a review of the original book of Foundation by Isaac Asimov somewhere on my channel. It's one of my best viewed book reviews for some reason. And he was in Broadchurch, which, let's not forget, Chris Chibnall and a lot of showrunners like casting people they've worked with before. He's been in Broadchurch. So have many other actors that Chris Chibnall has used in his era, including his previous Doctor. It's not that he knows him. This isn't completely out of the realms of possibility. He is known to Chris Chibnall. It might be happening. Maybe. And my final choice is another sort of legacy one. An unlikely one, I think, but one that I would actually really like to see. Sean Pertwee. Yes, the son of Third Doctor actor Jon Pertwee. He has been an actor in his own right for many, many, many years, and he is a fantastic actor. I particularly enjoyed his turn as Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce Wayne's butler, in the TV series Gotham. That was really good. And I've seen him in other things as well. I've seen him and I've heard him in other things. He's been in a lot of radio drama as well, and I've enjoyed him in that. In one particular radio drama, which I was working on the production team of, and he happened to be in it. He sounded so much like his dad. It was freaky. It was, because he sounds a little bit like his dad in his normal voice, but the particular voice he was using for this character that he was sounded so much like his dad. And, you know, we get that line from the curator in Day of the Doctor that the Doctor will go on to reuse a few old faces. So one that looks a lot like a previous face, because he also looks a lot like his dad, it wouldn't be too bad, I don't think. That would be kind of interesting. And he wouldn't need to play it the same as, he wouldn't need to play as the same character as the Third Doctor with the same personality traits. In fact, I wouldn't want him to. I'd want him to be very different to the Third Doctor, dress differently, act differently, but just have that familial facial features. But he needs to come up with his own character for it. But it would be great, and what a tribute to his dad if he did it. I don't think he would. I have a feeling, an inkling, certainly from hearing him in interviews and stuff, that he feels like he would probably be treading too much on his dad's toes doing that, and he'd rather, go out there and do his own stuff. But you never know. We can live in hope. So that is my 7 picks for the 14th Doctor. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And let me know what you think of mine. Are there any that you think really, oh no, not them, for whatever reason? Or are there any you're like, hey, yeah, they would be good. I would go, yeah, that one. Any of your thoughts, put them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. I'll be back for more Doctor Who content soon. Do hit subscribe, like, share, all of that jazz. And I will see you soon. Don't forget to watch, if you're an MCU fan, my Wonder Vision stuff, which is coming out weekly as well. I think I've got everything in there. Yeah. See you later.